Welcome to Auntie K's Tarot, your favorite radical queer indigenous auntie, bringing you tarot every day. Hello everyone and welcome to Auntie K's Tarot. Today is April 21st, 2025, and tomorrow season 2 of Andor starts, and we are going to get 3 episodes at a time over the course of 4 weeks, which will be like movies every week for 4 weeks. And each week is going to cover 1 year. Get my notes on my timeline out here. And I am going to put, I should move to the side so I can put up a picture of the timeline. Andor season 1 covered the Aldani heist. We'll say that's going to end up being a big historic part of the Star Wars timeline, is the Aldani heist. And it takes place in 5 BBY. Rogue One Rogue One, it takes place in 1 BBY along with New Hope. At one point it was 0 BBY with the Battle of Yavin, but now they're 1 BBY, which means that Andor season 2, 4 BBY is episodes 1, 2, 3. 3 BBY is week 2, episodes 4, 5, 6. 2 BBY is week 3, episodes 7, 8, 9. And 1 BBY is week 4, episodes 10, 11, 12. And 12 ends as Rogue One begins, which ends as A New Hope begins. So those all take place in like days. And this is apparently the setup of the show and the episode. All right, so let's talk about characters you can expect to see in this. And let's turn the camera around for face down. All right, so I thought it would also be wise to get a lay of the land of the characters in this, and a quick look at that. So some people from season 1, such as Terraman, didn't make it. Lando, Chewie, Dr. Aphra, they're around in this timeline. We don't expect to see them. The Bendu is around. Also don't expect to see them. On the other end of things, from Rogue One, Bodhi Rook is in the Empire in this timeline, and Sharut and Baze are on Jeddah, and Saw is going to end up in Jeddah, on Jeddah before the end of our timeline. Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine are obviously both in this timeline. They are the Emperor and the Emperor's Dark Lord, and we are anticipating seeing Vader. We are hopeful that we might see Palpatine, and Moff Gideon is in the ISB at this point in the timeline, so we could see him. Andor is our main character and obviously returning. Val and Cinta are some of the reoccurring characters, amongst others, that we will see from Rebels, working for Luthen. Mon Mothma, we are going to see, and the wedding that her daughter will be in, that will occur. And we, of course, will see Saw Gerrera, and he will end up on Jeddah. He will end up, all this going on to him. My prediction is it's a betrayal. We haven't seen Bail Organa yet, but we should expect to. And Bail and Mon Mothma have at times drifted together and apart in their political leanings. They're in similar but not exactly the same spaces, but this time period does pull them together. Leia, by 3 BBY, Leia becomes a junior senator and also has like her big day where she officially takes her place in the monarchy of Alderaan. Senator Giono's around. I don't think we're likely to see him, but we could. Arianda Price is around. We're not likely to see her, but she could show up in high society at Mothma's wedding. That would be fun. Lothal could end up in this. That would be fun. We expect to see the Ghost crew on Yavin. And we also expect to see the Ghost crew with Mon Mothma at after the Gorman massacre. We also expect to end up on Yavin with other rebels around, and who knows who we're going to get there. That could be very exciting. Ahsoka is Fulcrum, and Bail sends her to help out rebels, including the Ghost crew in this timeline. So that is also on the table. Okay, so we are going to do the cards, the tarot reading, obviously with the whole deck, but if any of these cards show up, we will obviously be wanting to pay special attention to that occurrence, because that would make it specific into our timeline and give us a bit more to look at. Let's zoom in and I will shuffle. And what I'm curious about is, what's the timeline? What happens? You can see on my timeline, I've decided when the Gorman massacre happens. And I know some people think it's sooner, but it has a specific date, which means it should occur in week 3. We know it takes up 5 episodes. So I expect it bleeds into week 2, maybe week 4, maybe even week 1, who knows. But I expect Gorman Massacre to bleed from week 2 into week 3. As a result. So let us see what we think is. Okay, low power mode. So apparently I have only so much more time to get this done. But that's how it is. I think we're just simply going to see him. I think that's all that's telling us. I really do. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week... I would say week 4, but I'm going to tell you why I think those two have to go together since they're right after each other. So week 4. We are going to see the crew of the Ghost. I think we're going to see Bail Organa. The Gorham Massacre, we know it happens in week 3, and Mon Mothma will flee to Dantooine. Otherwise, I would have said this is her daughter's wedding, but since it's followed by Dantooine, I'm going to say Mon Mothma flees to Dantooine, the Gorman Massacre. Okay, so will we see Darth Vader in week 2? But I think we'll see Darth Vader, but I don't know if it's going to be week 2. I think he's telling us we're going to see Imperial stuff. We know there's going to be a relationship between Cyril and Dedra. Blows my mind. But I think that is ultimately going to lead to some kind of heartbreak. I think it's going to lead to some kind of heartbreak. Eventually, maybe not right away, but we're going to see emotions, we're going to see relationships, and we're going to see the Empire more in week 2. And I think this will be the Dendra 0 week, or where we're come more into that. I think, okay, 5, pulling together the rebels, battling together, infighting, assessing out who's who. Saw reminds me that there's going to be spies. Saw's fear of spies doesn't come out of nowhere. It's legitimate. There are going to be spies. Assessing out the different factions, Five of Wands factions, who's on your side and who isn't, who can you trust and who you can't, the smaller battles and all of that. Because it is smaller battles, individual factions that sometimes work together up until this point when Mon Mothma calls rebels to Dantooine and to really form like a specific alliance. There's groups, there is an alliance, they're part of it, but many of them become the Rebel Alliance we know them at this point. So I think it's being like sussed out. That this is the shadow card. I don't know how directly we see our beloved ghost crew before. I don't know how directly we really see them. Because I think we're going to see Andor and folks get Mothma off of Coruscant. We know a different group like takes her from Coruscant to the Ghost, because the Ghost is only supposed to refuel their ship, but that gets blown up, and then they escape on the Ghost and through Nebula and with Gold Squadron. But it's quite likely that there's more than one stop along the way. Because ISB's coming down on her and investigating her. Are they, does she run right from making that speech? Like, so there's some questions in that, in the timeline. It's going to be things in a matter of days, so I do think it's pretty quickly. But there could be a handoff from Andor to the Ghost. I think it'd be really cool to see Mon Mothma with the Ghost Cruise on Hollow, and we're seeing it from Saw's perspective, but that's just because I'm a Saw fan. So, learning who the different factions are and resolving Andor and the Ferrex crew. That will be the Wheatfield place. More of a focus on ISB personalities and characters, because the fear of spies has to be legitimized throughout this whole thing. An emotional character build. Gorman's going to take place over 5 episodes. It's going to start here. So also, no surprise, there's 2 cards here, because fleeing to Dantooine, the Gorman massacre, like, it's going to bleed over into the previous week, maybe the week after. And then this is leading us to Rogue One. And there are similarities between Rogue One and the Aldani heist. Rogue One, they're stealing the plans from Scarab, right? Breaking into the Imperial base. The 7 can also be about betrayal. And I think something is going to happen in this, where the line that Andor says about, like, we've all done stuff, you know, that we need to make this worth it. That's why we're going with you, Jen, that's why we're going with you, Jen, to Scarif. And I suspect we'll get bits throughout the whole thing, but, like, something here is going to hit us. Like, oh my gosh. Maybe with the guy with that he shoots. Maybe, like, he said something to him at some point to make him feel more assured that he can give this information, it'll be safe. And then, I don't know. But those are my thoughts. There's Cassian's big betrayal, what he wants to make up for, I think we'll see here leading up to Scarif. those are my thoughts and predictions for Andor Season 2 tomorrow.